And we're live. Okay. Hey everyone, Avatar Guy here. Today I'm joined by the fantastic group of people from the Avatar Discord server. We have Anamnesis. If you want to say hi. He's actually frozen in shock since he joined. Anamnesis, are you actually with us?
I'm here.
Oh, he's here. We have Klee.
Sorry.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
hi, it's me.
We have Elf.
Hi.
We have Savako from the Avatar Pod.
Hi.
Yeah. And we have Minty.
Yeah, how's it going today, guys?
And today, since it's going to be 2 months until the release of Avatar 2, Avatar The Way of Water, we thought we would talk about a few things, maybe interact a little bit with you guys in the chat, answer any questions that you have, talk about when we think the next trailer's coming out, and just, go ahead and go over a few of the things that we've probably been talking about in private, but not necessarily in public. So I guess what I think Anamnesis, or maybe it was Elf, who had the really good idea of, I think we should all give our predictions as to when the trailer is going to drop, and maybe we can have some kind of competition and see who's the most accurate.
Yeah, and like you were saying earlier before we started, we're only 2 months out from the debut of the movie, and we still don't have a trailer. So it's pretty intriguing in a world where trailers come out so many months in advance that we still don't have anything. I'm guessing we're going to see something in the next week. If it's not out this week, something's wrong.
Yeah. Hey everyone. I mean, okay. So my prediction is, my weird prediction is, I think it's going to be the end of October, like the 31st of October is kind of my guess, and I don't know where that comes from.
Too.
That's just my hunch.
I do remember that originally in 2009 they probably had it earlier than that, but yeah.
In 2009 it came out on the 20th of October.
Was it really? Yeah. So we're right on target.
We're right on it. Yeah. Klee?
It came out only 2 months before the movie, man. I would have thought it was
the big
longer.
trailer, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be soon. I think it's just going to drop unannounced. I don't know.
I feel like if they drop it, again, what day would they actually put it out? There's another question.
The thing was, I mean, and I don't want to get into spoilers or talk about leaks or anything, but I know that the shots leaked for the first teaser a few days prior, and we still don't have anything, right? So
right, yeah, it's
I think we'll get 2 trailers. I think one will be on Halloween, and then the next one will be on Thanksgiving, and they're gonna drop them on these holidays, so everyone is kind of like, "Oh, yo, did you hear about this?" Because usually people meet up on holidays,
so it generates people coming up or anything. I'm not privy to these things.
Savako, Elf, what do you think?
Let me think. Well, I always think it matches up with a sports game that when they release big trailers. I think they did that with Star Wars recently. And now I'm frantically looking through what US sports events are coming up.
It's the Super Bowl. We don't have the Super Bowl for about 4 months yet.
Okay, so that's not it.
I mean, it should come out on Veterans Day in honor of Jake Sully.
Mm-hmm. That's gone too. All we have left in the US is Thanksgiving. And
it says.
Well, either Thanksgiving or Halloween then would be my guess. Not taking a lot of risks here.
I mean, it could also be just straight tomorrow. Could you imagine?
I would actually love that. But
that's podcast tomorrow, guys.
The teaser came out on a Monday in the morning, totally unannounced.
Yeah, it did.
I think they did that so they wouldn't break the internet on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah. I'll never forget when that teaser trailer came out, and I was at work, this when I was working at I don't know how you say a horse stud. So I was down the field with a bunch of pregnant horses looking after them. And then I just get a message from my mother, and she's like, "Look at this, it looks incredible." And I'm watching it on my phone. That's the screen is just completely
exactly the way James Cameron intended.
Exactly, yeah. And I remember sitting there, I watched it 10 times just in this field, and it was it was a pretty bad day. It was starting to rain and everything. Just all these horses running around me. I'm watching the trailer, dude, this is so cool.
Yeah.
hopefully it's like a similar situation. in the trailer.
Okay, finally, Elf. When do you think we're getting the trailer?
Wow. I think it might be at the end of this week. Something kind of close or soon, but not like tomorrow, maybe. I think that's a bit stretching too far, maybe.
Yeah,
So-
I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out like at any time, really. It's
Or it
gotta
could
be
take
soon.
forever. Because like Harley Tanish is in the chat, right? And he just said Black Panther 2 trailer didn't come out until 5 weeks before release. It
Yeah,
could.
that's-
it-
And
Yeah,
and I
but
also
we're like
meant to-
6 weeks to release.
right. It's definitely going to play before Wakanda Forever. And I think
no, I think it
thematically,
might, like-
It's got to play before Wakanda Forever.
Yeah,
Like,
of
that's
course it
almost
will.
guaranteed. There's no way. it isn't,
Okay. I thought you were saying it's going to come out before Wakanda Forever. I think it might premiere with Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
it did for Doctor Strange.
and
Mm.
thematically, it makes sense because I'm sure everybody's seen that trailer by now. There's was anyone else thinking, wow, there's some stuff here that hits like Avatar? They're attacking a large boat. They're swimming in the water. There's themes about a tribal
there's a
society
wave, I
that
think.
lost its leader. It's like, wow, this is almost like Avatar.
There's blue guys running around.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I get. So
James
this.
Cameron ripped off Black Panther.
No, there's just similarities.
Ferngully wasn't enough. No, it's Black Panther. Man, I can't believe this guy.
I think so. Okay, this is a bigger question that I've seen a lot of people discussing on Discord and in various places, which is, do you feel like the marketing for the sequel has been enough, or like what do you think? So my personal view is, I think that they could have done more, and that it's obvious that I think if Avatar was still purely with Fox, we would have seen way more by now than
Why, they
the
would have
fact that
milked
they're
it,
owned
yeah.
by Disney, right? So Disney's really careful not to cannibalize their other,
Right.
properties. So I feel like they're being very careful with that. And like for me personally, I do wish there was a little bit more hype being built. And I know that a lot of people are very much aware of Avatar, but I get the feeling that they could be doing more. But
Yeah,
I'm,
I've seen on the big screens in front of cinemas, I've seen like the Avatar 2 preview thingy and the Avatar remaster, but besides that, there's no signage, there's no posters anywhere, there's no
I
ads on YouTube.
I honestly think that building on what you said, Avatar guy, they don't want to cannibalize their other material, and they're probably hoping for something similar in a more organic sense this time around. That word of mouth will be just crazy for this. So, and they don't want to put their cards out and show what they've got. They're trying to keep this thing a secret as much as possible, and they're doing a really good job.
And it
But-
worked for the teaser. So
It's
Yeah.
fantastic. On that point, by the way, I actually do think it's almost inspiring how airtight these productions have been. We have literally had, like when I follow other movies, there's a ton of leaks of background like things and a
Yeah.
bunch of secrets that get leaked
It's
online.
because it's all underwater and you can't take photos underwater.
no, but to these points, it's all shot on in a studio. They're not shooting a car chase in London or whatever,
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all on the soundstage. I remember that was a huge issue when they were filming what's that Star Wars movie called again? The Last Jedi, yeah? They filmed that in like this town in Ireland, and then every person in that town in Ireland, they all got their drones out and they started flying over to the island to try to get photos. So then they had to set up like a radio signal where like if you flew a drone too close to the island, it would just like stop and fall into the ocean.
And they have jammers.
Like seriously, and then fishermen started going out with the boats, like trying to get like photos of the island and stuff. So they had to get like their own like coast guard system to stop fishermen from going to the island.
Yeah, man.
It's
No one can
crazy.
do that on Pandora because the
Yeah, yeah.
RDA controls the only ships. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
James
different
Cameron's
planet as well.
pocket.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
I wanna-
Perfect, yeah,
I
that's
want-
more league.
I want Sean's view on this because of his film knowledge. And he's also being very quiet about it.
I think it's super interesting, like looking at the marketing we've had so far, because if you think about it, it is just the teaser and obviously like the presentation at D23, and then the little bit with the remaster. That's all that's public, really, and then a couple interviews with the cast, and that's not a lot, but I kind of like it because so many other things we already know. Like, okay, I'm gonna use Black Adam as an example. I have seen like it feels like about 4 different Black Adam trailers. I constantly see The Rock on every talk show already talking it up and basically spoiling the entire movie. And it's kind of nice that I don't have that experience with Avatar yet. And it's refreshing in a way. And I kind of hope that it keep up with it. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing loads of interviews, but I really hope they do keep it pretty hush, pretty low key until after the movie when they can talk about it more freely.
Yeah, the teaser is doing all the work, really.
Mm.
The one thing that I keep thinking of though is the fact they didn't promote those post-credit scenes. That tons of people who went to see the remaster probably never saw them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said the same thing. They should have announced that there would be something prior, so that people would
Yeah.
stay and see them.
I wish there'd been a thing with.
word of mouth.
I wish there'd been that thing at the start with Jim, and he says like, "Thanks for coming to watch this in the cinema, and just make sure you stick around at the end for a little sneak peek, for something special." And that literally just needed a 30-second, shot of
Exactly.
of Jim saying that, and I think that would have thousands and thousands of people would have seen that,
Uh-huh.
and they didn't,
Yeah.
which is it's kind of it's depressing, especially
There's a-
with how amazing those scenes are.
And
There's
you know
a lot
what?
of missed opportunities.
I went to, crazily enough, I went to see the 10-year anniversary of Twilight, which they did have a little thing at the beginning to say, hey, wait to the end, because we got a little like behind the scenes thing where they went back to the locations they shot Twilight at. And guess what? People stayed and watched the thing afterwards because people knew there was a thing to stay and watch afterwards.
Yep. I don't know. I can't make sense out of why they wouldn't do the same thing. You see that with a lot of movies.
Especially re-releases. Like, it
Yeah.
makes sense to just promote, to be like, hey, look. And people are used to staying after credits now. Look, Marvel's absolutely made people, I've been to a film festival and nothing had a post-credit scene, but I stayed to the end of the credits just in case.
Do you think
Right.
that that's what they were relying on? That the audience have
They
been
were
so
really
well
counting on
trained.
that.
Quite possibly.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either, because like even in Ireland, even though it's a huge thing that like people stay until after the post-credit scene to see it, no one does that here. They all just they look it up on their phone. If it's one, then they might stay, but then they'll just catch it on YouTube.
At the theater I went to, lots of people stayed. Most people stayed. Like a couple people left, and then they watched it from the middle of the stairs, but most
Yeah.
people watched it.
It's crazy how they haven't released those scenes yet. Like, I mean, it's been
I don't think they're going
what,
to.
like a month now. That's
I don't think they
that's
will
what
either.
I'm saying,
Yeah. I don't
They
think
didn't
they're gonna
release-
show those.
They didn't release footage like back in 2009. They had Avatar Day with 15 minutes of footage. They didn't release that either.
That's the thing. I think that there is a very big difference between people like us who are probably very attentive to all the things coming out, and then the general audience who are going to make up the bulk of the people who are going to see the movie. So as long as those people know that Avatar 2 is coming and when it's coming, that's all that really matters. Everything else is just, I guess, a bonus in a way.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Which also makes it difficult for, I think, sometimes to think outside of the bubble of Avatar, being Avatar fans. Like, I try and
Yeah.
talk to people at work and tell people who I know don't pay any attention whatsoever to movies in general. I'll talk to people and say, "Oh, have you heard anything about Avatar?" And like someone said, "Oh, that they knew it was coming out, but they weren't sure when." And there's also a lot of people who I think still think it's delayed and maybe never coming out, which is interesting. But
That's what happens when you don't have a big trailer, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe again they're just waiting. Although again, this is another argument I've seen. I think stuff like Top Gun 2 have shown that having those really long marketing, but like like Savako said, not like Black Adam where you just ram it down everyone's throat. like in a very short period of time. It needs to be like kind of drip fed into society that it just
Yeah.
people just become aware of it. And I felt like that was the case with Top Gun 2. Everyone knew about it, and then when it finally came out, it was this built up desire to see it, and then
Yeah.
that was kind of
I think
unleashed,
as
and I
well though
feel like
with
that's what
Top
we
Gun
want.
Maverick, there wasn't a lot of like promotional material. It was like that movie came out, and then all of the promotional material came out.
Yeah,
They
I
were
think
promoting it for
Yeah.
years in the United States.
Oh
I
really?
think
Oh okay, that's different tier then.
Top Gun
Yeah,
Maverick is an
same.
interesting one because obviously so much is to do with the technical aspect as well. So there was like basically two different types of trailers. There was the one teasing the film, but then there was the sort of, oh, look at all the production that went behind it. And I think a similar thing could work with Avatar, where they do the regular trailer, show the story, but then do like a behind the scenes kind of thing to be like, hey, look at all the crazy stuff we've got going on behind the scenes.
100%. I mean, a video came out the other day about this camera tech on Avatar 2, and I'll try and find the link to the channel. But he does a bunch of videos about the tech. He did a video, and it's I think it got over 500,000 views in like 10 days. So I would love to see more videos like that. Little behind the scenes snippets, or just showing the amount of effort that's really gone into the movies. So yeah, I would love to see that.
I think I saw that clip too.
It's
I
really
forgot where I
good.
saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll drop it.
I've seen a lot more of not like Avatar fan accounts, but just like general like kind of like media accounts and like Instagram post behind the scenes footage of the original Avatar movie.
Mhm.
Like I've
Yeah,
seen that like a lot more often now. Yeah.
There's definitely an increase. You can feel the interest in it in general.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
massively increased. Just I like the big YouTubers as well talking about it. They keep seeing a lot more like channels and videos that I don't think I
Yeah.
would ever have seen before.
Yeah.
Channels that react to movies are watching Avatar a lot.
Those channels are cancer.
No, some of them are funny. Some of them are funny.
Yeah, I watch them
I
sometimes.
love that one. You know the one it's called Pretty Much It, and that Stranger Things video. Oh my god, like that is the funniest video on YouTube. When,
Oh
like,
no,
they
I
keep
only
saying that,
watch
like, Hopper
reactions
is
to
cowboy.
Avatar. So I watch each channel once. and only watch-
I just find it amazing that all these people have never seen any movies before. I'm watching this for the first time. Really? You've never seen like
Yeah.
these 50 movies ever in your life? No, you're a liar. You're faking.
Guys,
Yeah,
if
you're
this
living under a
video
rock.
if this video gets 200 likes, I'll watch Avatar for the first time.
Whoa.
The first time today. No,
Yeah.
Kaleidoscope did a comment, which is I like, is that one of the cinemas in Wellington. I'm just going to show it. Is listing Avatar 2 with a 190-minute runtime. I mean,
Wow.
that doesn't. If that's true, and again, I wouldn't take anything, as true because a lot of them list different runtimes. But
Yeah.
Jim has said that he's heavily implied that it's going to be over 3 hours.
Yeah.
So if that was the runtime, I'd be extremely excited.
I was expecting
Yeah.
maybe 170, but that's
I mean, how long was Titanic?
it's about it's about the same. 180.
Yeah, 3 hours.
185.
Yeah. So I think that the 3 hours 10, including the credits, would make sense. I mean, the
Yeah.
credits themselves are probably going to be about 10 minutes long. So
Yeah, like these are gonna be like one of the longest credits going, I imagine.
You think there's going to be an after credit scene?
Might
Yeah,
be.
it's gonna be of Quaritch doing something. I feel like because I feel like they're trying to build Quaritch up as being like the new like kind of real like big bad dude of like Hollywood. You know?
Not for the
Yeah.
whole saga though. I think you're
You
mistaken.
don't think so?
Nope.
I don't know.
Nah,
Like
no,
maybe
no,
he's
no.
gonna get a redemption, but like I definitely think they're gonna like really push Quaritch. You know, he's gonna be like
Well, sure, but not as a bad
yeah.
guy for the entire saga.
Yeah.
Like, look at what happened to Darth Vader by the end of Return of the Jedi. You know, it's a total. It's
Well, but it was a good
know,
way
he's
for
pretty
3
bad,
minutes
though,
of the
like,
movie.
I don't think Jim will necessarily have like a single individual as the big bad. Think
Right.
about like Terminator, right? There's agents of big bad things like Skynet, but ultimately Skynet is the thing of which they're fighting against. And I think that Jim would stick to that. It seems a little bit like simplistic. It's too simplistic for what I think Jim's going for.
Yeah.
For it to
And
just
the
be
RDA is
one
faceless.
person. Right.
We're gonna see the
So you
true
guys
face of
think
the RDA
AWA
eventually.
You think Awa's going to be the big villain?
Could you imagine?
I think maybe, man. Honestly, that's what the Seed Bearer could be. You know, they're like fighting against Awa.
We
No,
need
I
to do
think they're spreading AWA, but
we need to do like a deep cut theory episode with the real deep theories.
yeah, like an iceberg.
We
Well,
should
the-
do an
we do
iceberg
al-
video,
We
guys.
already. You mean we should do an iceberg theory where we create the iceberg ourselves instead of like the first
Yeah,
one
yeah.
where we went through
Yeah.
it? Yeah, okay, that's maybe a good idea.
What's the top level is Vin Diesel as AWA, yeah?
No,
Oh,
Vin
God.
Diesel is a tree. Oh, I mean, if
Yeah,
Vin
but
Diesel is
What's
every
your guys',
single
like,
tree,
best Avatar
doesn't that
theory
make him AWA?
kind of thing?
I was gonna say I think I'm gonna place a small bet and say we're gonna see Vin Diesel cameo in the trailer. There will be
Yeah.
some kind of maybe an unannounced character or an actor
He's not-
cameo.
He's not
in
in
the
the second
trailer?
movie, man. He's not
Did
in
you
the
not
second
watch
movie.
that
Alright, guys,
May-
video?
Maybe not Vin Diesel specifically, but somebody you didn't expect to see that was previously unannounced in the trailer.
That makes me
See,
think
I
it's going to
want
be
Vin
you.
Diesel.
Me?
It makes me think it's going to be Animanesis, where he's
Yeah,
like,
you're
"There's going to be
being
someone
really
in the
critical
trailer
right
that you
now.
don't
Yeah.
you don't expect."
I
Uh,
want
I
a
ha-
scene with Vin Diesel right at the end where it's like they have like cars on Pandora now, but it's like made for the jungle, and he's just like zooming through the jungle. Oh, you know that meme?
They
and
show
it-
cars
like,
in the first movie.
Selfridge. Yeah, no.
So
Remember the
it
meme?
makes
though, and
sense.
It was like saying, "Oh, we educate them, we give them this, we try to build them roads." And then it cuts
Exactly,
to, like the
man.
Navi in the car. Can you imagine they build a road and it's just like a Navi Vin Diesel driving around?
Yeah, like a
In
wooden
a
car.
Yeah.
A wooden car, man.
and
With,
he's
like,
got to say something
squirrels
about family.
turning a wheel inside.
Family. Man, Vin
It's
Diesel's
about
the man,
family.
though,
I
seriously.
think he's just going to cameo as a tree, in another animated tree.
Yeah.
That would be pretty funny.
He just
Oh, man,
Jake
he's more
tells
captain of a
Neytiri,
tree.
Jake's going to tell Neytiri that this family is our fortress, and it's going to cut to a shot of Vin Diesel with a tear rolling down his face, just nodding, and that'll be it.
Yeah.
Hey Sivako, how do we
Well,
say
actually-
I am Groot in Navi?
Oh, don't ask me. I didn't learn that quickly.
How do you say I am?
I'm going to find the link to
I'm
the
real-
camera
I'm
tech
real
video,
knowledge.
Charlie.
To be fair,
Well,
it's
like-
probably
like I said,
far off because Groot's a
maybe.
name. So
No, yeah,
Wow.
Groot means big in Dutch, I think, yeah.
Groot's his
I-
name.
I-
it probably
I
wouldn't be
see-
too different.
Everyone needs
in-
to go and watch my myths video and realize that he's not going to be in the second movie or the
He's
third.
gonna be in the
That's what I
second
said.
movie.
They're just
That's
they're
he's
saying
not.
that to
Showing
fake
us
you
off.
out.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
It's already in the first movie. You guys don't know about it.
I
But
saw him in the first
I
movie.
can tell. Yeah, he's playing a tree, man.
We should
I
stop
can
talking
tell
about
from
Vin
the
Diesel and
artist.
talk about the actual people that we know were in the movie.
No, that's
Yeah,
boring.
okay, in the
Because
chat,
I
they're ta-
think we'll see more of the scientists. I hope we see more of the scientists.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I hope so.
I want to get a good feel for sorry, what's his name? Jermaine Clement, because Jim said Jermaine Clement is his favorite new character in
Yeah.
the movie.
I hope he's like some like idiot. Like he's just like some like crazy like idiot dude who's like doing like some dumb stuff. That'd be great. Jermaine Clements
He's
is
like
incredible.
he's gonna be like the Jar Jar Binks of Avatar.
No, not
Yeah.
not like that. Not like that. I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
like
give me that.
I want to get like a okay. Have any of you guys seen what's it called? Eagles vs Sharks. Yeah, it's like Taika
Yeah, yeah.
Waititi's like first movie. Jermaine Clement's in that movie, and he plays like this loser, who's like really like over the top. I want that to be the character in Avatar too.
I wonder
That's
if
too predictable.
I wonder if the scientists in the sequels will be significantly different from the scientists we saw in the original.
Exactly.
That-
I was gonna say the same thing.
You know, that they'll actually maybe be more sympathetic to the RDA because now they know that
Right.
they're basically a full-scale war.
Right, they're
that-
trying the company line, like
Exactly.
Grace did.
Because they
Yeah.
don't want a
Yeah.
repeat of what Grace did.
They're not
And that's-
studying the Navi anymore. They are building recoms. So
Right,
it
that's part of what
yeah.
I was touching
Yeah.
on in
Said.
the last episode when I talked about AI, and the RDA is going to need more assets at its disposal that are, reliable.
Yeah.
So
I want to answer a couple of questions that have just popped up in the chat. So one of them by Farah, he says that a character called Kenjo Quaritch is in the cast list. I think if that cast list is from IMDb, don't trust it, because IMDb can be edited by anyone, and so you don't want to trust IMDb or even Wikipedia. If it's not on the official Avatar website, you should be very skeptical of it. And then the other question was about what was the other question? Was there oh yeah, Varang. So what about Varang? This is interesting, and the one that I keep thinking about is we know that Una Chaplin is going to be in these sequels, and they haven't mentioned her character at all. So I wonder if she even appears in the second one. Maybe she doesn't.
I think she will. I have a feeling she's not going to
Maybe
be
she
what
plays a
people
tree.
expect, though.
She
There's no more
plays a
trees. There's no more trees in this one. The trees are gone.
Yeah, you got to play
Maybe
an
she plays
underwater.
a coral. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
She
a
plays
coral.
coral.
She's a fish.
Yeah, she's like a squid or something.
She's the one who plays the Tulkun.
Yeah, can you imagine? Oh.
She's the
Dude,
yeah.
What if the Tulkun talks and it's like, have you guys seen what's that movie called? An Iron Giant, yeah? And Vin Diesel
Yeah.
plays
Of
an Iron
course.
Giant.
Of course.
What if Vin Diesel plays the Tulkun and there's a
Oh.
scene where like the Tulkun has to like swim into the big ship and he goes, what does he
You
say? He goes,
stay, I go, no
"Superman," or
following.
something. Yeah.
It's totally, you're right though, Minty. It's going to be like between Loak and Palakan, that's going to be the same thing as the story between Hogarth and the Iron Giant.
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely.
100%.
Pe-
Yeah, yeah.
People
I'm
are going to be like crying like little girls.
I'm interested as well to see, how do you say his name? Payakan
I think so. Yeah.
or Paikan? It's something like that, you know. But I'm interested to see, like, you know, what happens there, because Tonawari, he says that like the Tolkun, they were like fighting against each other, and then they realize it's only leading to like more hate and more suffering, so they don't kill. But then Tolkun, he kills, or not Paikan, he kills, so he's like an
Right.
outcast, you know.
Right.
So I'm interested to see like how
But-
does that work, like.
He's probably going to come back and save the day and prove himself. And I think one of the shots we'll see in the trailer is going to be like Loak riding Palakan into battle, even though all the adults
Nah,
said,
I
no,
hope
stay,
they don't.
stay away
That
from
would
him.
be
Don't.
really,
Yeah.
that would be really
don't-
cool. But that would be amazing that the Met Hyena are getting like torn to pieces by some kind of big machine, and then Loak just appears riding Payakan.
Also,
The crab
they
robots.
say that Payakan is a killer, but we don't know who he's killing. Is he killing the Mechkaina or is he killing the humans?
Or is he killing other Tolkien?
I
Is he
think it's other
killing other-
Tolkien.
Is that why he's the last Tolkun?
It doesn't. No one says he's the last one.
Yeah, there's others.
He's the only one in the trailer.
Yeah, in the trailer. They're not
Oh,
going to just
yeah,
spend
he's
like
the
an extra
only-
2 minutes of the trailer be like, oh yes, by the way, here's the rest of the Tolkien on the planet.
He was too difficult to CGI, so they could only afford one. That's what Minty's trying to say.
What
I
if
see.
what if it turns out that Jim actually went into the water with a whale and hooked up motion capture dots to the whale
Could
so
you-
they could get
You can do that
That's the
though.
kind of crazy. That's the kind of crazy thing I'd imagine him doing.
No, seriously, people have done that though. There's actually I've heard of these people. They were putting like GoPros on the backs of like orcas and whales with like suction cups.
That's crazy.
So you could do that. You could stick a bunch of balls on a whale and like film him for a bit.
So okay, we got a good question from Far I see again in chat in the chat, which I like. And again, this moves us on to another point, which is what do we think we're gonna see in the trailer? So I do think we'll see more of the human settlement, and maybe it's going to kind of tease us. Because again, this is the other thing. I don't want it to be like one of those trailers where it just gives you the entire story in a summary. I want it to be one of those trailers where you still aren't sure what's actually going to happen in the film. So my hope is we see a bunch of cool landscapes and we see a bunch of the human tech, but it still doesn't give us any of the story apart from maybe what happens at the very beginning. But then that's my personal taste of how a trailer should be.
You took the words out of my mouth. The one thing they've really held back on so far is revealing more of the RDA narrative and all the tech, all the new tech they've got, like the crab suits and the sea dragon and the new aerial interceptors, which are smaller than the scorpions, and maybe a tease of what the recoms are and maybe kind of how they're made or what they're up to with that. And because everything so far has been, this is the Metkayina and everything's so beautiful, but we're not seeing the human side of things. So, in addition to revealing kind of what the RDA is up to in the teaser, I'd like to in the trailer, I'd like to see more close-up shots of all the characters, because we got that final shot of Jake and Neytiri and the shot where she's in the jungle. Those close-ups are really going to sell the movie. That's where it's going to shine. Is when
Yeah.
people see how detailed the faces are. So I hope they show a lot of other characters, like that shot of Ronal when she's screaming in the water. That's just going to sell it so easily.
This is super random, but honestly, what I'm most excited to see out of the trailer is Quaritch talking, because I can't, whatever reason, I can't imagine Quaritch's voice coming from the recon.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
or
there's
anyone
something
talking
about
really.
it, man. Like, I can't. I'm like, they have to change his voice a little bit. I feel like now.
Well, I'm hoping they do the same thing with Sigourney's. Like, they can't just have these avatars have the same voices after all this time, right?
Yeah, I'm really curious to know if they are going to show that in the trailer. And also space stuff. We've only seen things on the surface of Pandora. I wonder if we're going to see either the whole moon of Pandora or ships or anything in space. I don't think they're going to show anything like that. I think they really want to sell Pandora and, go to see the movie to go to Pandora, which is why I'm not sure they're going to show any space stuff, but I would like them to.
I agree. I think there'll be like a space armada. Previously, we just had the Venture Star. Now they're going to have lots of ships, I think. Up in space.
I want to see more of.
Oh, sorry, Minty.
Sorry. No, you go.
Oh, I'm curious because obviously at the first one we get the voiceover from Jake. Do you guys think we still will have voiceover from Jake, or is it going to be a voiceover from someone else, or no voiceover at all?
I'm thinking it might be either Kiri or Spider. Kiri because she seems so central to the story, and Spider because he's the one who has to go into Hell's Gate every day to shower and brush his teeth and eat. So he'd have a lot of time to do his audio logs.
Can you imagine? I quite liked the framing device for Jake in the movie, that it kind of, there were those moments when he's talking to the camera that gave you like a little breather. So I wouldn't dislike it if we did have those, and it would be cool to have it as Kiri or even Spider.
I hope we still get those.
I suppose one interesting thing they could do is, obviously we've seen the image of like Kiri looking at Grace on the video logs. I wonder if they did something like some wizardry to make it so that the voiceover is Grace, but from older video logs. So, and then using that as a way to like frame it as in Kiri's watching these older videos, try to like learn things. And that's what they use as like a different frame.
That would be really interesting.
I think that could be like a cool way to do it. Obviously, probably not, but I think it's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, there's famously multiple cuts of the original Blade Runner with and without the voiceover. So it'll be interesting to see which route James Cameron does decide to go down, because I know that some people really dislike those kind of voiceovers and some people love them. So yeah, which way he goes is going to be interesting to see. Also interesting to see how it feels with the main character, because one of the things is that you do need the kind of grounding character that you see the world, through their eyes. So it makes sense if it was Spider or one of the children, or Kiri, because she seems to be the one exploring the world quite a bit. So it'll be interesting to see if we stick with Jake, or whether one of these new characters becomes the character that we as the audience kind of travel with.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have a main character in this, though. I think it's definitely looking like an ensemble film.
Agreed. At some point, they're going to have to transition away from Jake. I think everyone kind of suspects or fears that some of these characters will be removed, and so you have to. I think every film will have kind of a different central character. Like this one might be Spider, then maybe Kiri, and then maybe who knows? Like it'll shift away from Jake at some point.
Kind of like the Lord of the Rings did it, where sometimes it's one group, sometimes it's two groups, three groups, but
yeah, exactly. Like
Mm.
Okay, if I asked you guys who's the main character of Lord of the Rings, what are you gonna say?
Frodo.
Frodo, but
Sam.
It's
No, but
it's
you see a
Sam.
lot of people say Aragorn.
yeah,
Lies.
No, it's
That's
true.
not true.
I
no,
can see.
no,
I can
because
because
see
you
it.
spend a lot of time with him.
Yeah,
And, you
but
know, he's
the
taking
reason people think he's the
decisions.
main character is because he's
I've
just the
met
main
people-
character energy.
Yes,
Here's
But
the
I've
thing.
met people who think that Gandalf is the main character of Lord of the Rings. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think
Oh.
with Avatar, it's gonna be left up to a little bit of like ambiguity. You know, it's like
Let's
I
not
think
use
it'll be
Lord of the
like
Rings
Star
as an
Wars
example,
Episode
though. Let's look at something like Terminator 2. Who's the main
Right,
character
I was
in
thinking
Terminator
about
2?
Terminator 2, right? And I actually was going to say that I think that it's going to be like Terminator 2, where you'll have an anchoring character to begin with,
Mhm.
and it, like, although even with T2, it starts you kind of follow the T800 as much as you follow John Connor at the start, right?
yeah,
Right. It's
you
a
know?
trinity. Father,
yeah.
mother, son. Who's the main
Right.
character?
And you follow them as they go. So it feels like, yeah, that maybe we'll start with Jake, but he'll just be like that little familiar face that we see at the start, and then it carries on. So yeah, yeah. Thinking about T2, it's difficult. You can say John Connor's the main character, but he's not really, is he?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, no, I honestly I'd say that like Sarah Connor is the main character in T2.
So
I
maybe
think so
maybe
too.
that's
yeah.
going to happen with
Yeah.
Avatar then. Yeah.
She narrates
Like-
the film, right?
Right. Yeah, she does.
like
Yeah,
Jake.
she narrates the film. A lot of the choices that are made to alter the story are made by her. Like, I don't know, like, because the T800 is like he shows up on screen a lot and we follow him, but he's not a main character because a lot of the decisions that he makes are for other people.
Right.
Then with
Even-
John, he's
I was going to say, even with Titanic, is who's the main character? Is it
Is
Rose?
it Jack or Rose?
Is it? Yeah, exactly.
It's Rose. It's Rose's
I
story.
think it's the
right.
captain.
It's Bill Paxton's story, actually.
I was going to say, is it Bill Paxton's story?
Absolutely.
It is. Bill Paxton is the main character in Titanic, man.
He's just listening to the rest of it.
Right. Yeah. Hey
I
everyone
can-
hey everyone in the chat. By the way, hello everyone. A lot of people are saying hello, so I think everyone needs to say hi.
Fine.
Hi, everyone.
How's it?
I mean, the one thing again that I thought when we were watching when I was rewatching the original was that we never really get much of Neytiri's perspective. You know?
No.
Yeah, we never
Right.
get any of the Na'vi
Weird-
perspective
weirdly-
like, at all.
Yeah. So it would be. I feel like it would be really nice to see the world from
I think
Neytiri's,
I'm-
point of view.
I'm glad you mentioned that because we've talked about the parallels with Aliens and how we both think it's Cameron's best film.
Yeah.
And the shift that he made to Ripley's character being a mother and losing her daughter and then regaining a daughter and then fighting for her. I think we're going to see that parallel with Neytiri this time around. We're going to see Neytiri go Ripley, and
Oh,
it's going
don't
to
mind-
shift. It's going to shift her, and I'm going to lose my mind. I'm gonna
I
go
will be
crazy.
so happy if we
But
just get we
I-
get aliens again, but this time on Pandora.
I'm willing to place. I'm going to die on this hill. Neytiri's going to pick up 2 battle rifles and sling them over her shoulder and get on the Sea Dragon and go crazy.
And
No, honestly,
Carrie says something about that she remembers, like this seems familiar to her.
I'm more excited to see Neytiri being how do you say it? Sahik. Like
Sahik.
basically the Sangoma of like the Omaticaya people, you know?
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
more
she's in
excited
charge,
to see her
right?
like that.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that'll
yeah.
happen later, not in this movie.
Also, that kind of confirms that Moat's gonna die in this movie, sadly.
I don't
Because
think there's going to be many Omaticaya people left for Neytiri
Yeah,
to lead by
know, it's-
like the 20-minute mark of the movie.
Clee and I sticking with the Omaticaya wipeout theory.
Yeah, I don't think Jake
Yeah.
and his family are fleeing
What-
for no reason.
I
Fleeing
think
alone.
there's surely only 2 ways.
what if they just go on vacation?
Maybe, yeah. Like, okay,
Oh,
there's 3
Charlie,
ways
you
it could
hurt
go.
me, Charlie, man. You're hurting me with that comment. Come on. Look, Charlie's just listed Jim's films in order, and he's put Aliens at the end. That
Oh,
just feels like a
no.
trigger in my heart.
Kick him out of the
Avatar,
Hey,
chat.
where's True Lies?
You know what,
Uh,
Avatar guy, I want to do this ranking with you at some point. I'll get you to come
let's
on. and
do
we'll
it.
have a
We'll do it. I
ranking.
was gonna say, well, you can have. Yeah, let's do it. We get guys. Yes, check out Savaco's podcast if you haven't. By the way, it's really good. But yeah, let's get me on. We'll get
Yeah,
Anamnesis
we're
on as well. We'll just talk about like set up a 10-hour free period, and we'll all jump on and we'll just really go into it.
Yeah.
Let's do 10 1-hour parts. Or
Yeah,
5
maybe, yeah.
2-hour parts.
The James Cameron ranking part 1 of 10.
Aliens
yeah.
always goes at the top.
Yeah, Aliens.
Honestly,
it will be.
T2 is better
Definitely.
than Aliens. I don't care what anyone
Oh,
says.
we're gonna this is gonna cause an
Do you-
upset.
Yeah.
Do you know
Honestly,
why,
last
guys?
episode,
Guys, you know why Aliens is better than all the other Cameron movies? Because when you understand what he had to go through to make it, the kind of budget they had, all the problems they had, and he turned what could have been a total turd, a lump of coal, into a diamond.
Literally, absolute disaster.
Under pressure, like
Yeah.
Horner's
Yeah.
music, every element of it lined up. It was lightning in a bottle. And yeah, you could have given James Cameron a whole bunch of money. That was so early in his career, it wouldn't have happened. But he didn't need it. It proves how good of a filmmaker he was with that kind of a challenge. So
Yeah, I love how James Cameron's biggest issue with making Aliens was all the British people who kept going out for tea.
Yes.
Like
They're
that's
destroying everything.
That's so funny.
we were
to
talking
me,
about that last time.
seriously.
it's funny. Yeah, that was just one of the many challenges. Is the British people who have no work ethic and go out for tea.
Hey man,
Right
I
out-
feel personally attacked.
I was about to apologize. I didn't mean it.
Wow.
No,
To
it's
be honest,
true,
sounds
it's
about
true.
right.
I was gonna say you don't have to apologize. It's true.
Oh, I
We
just
will
saw.
take any excuse to have a break.
Yeah, Farai, she posted on the thing is saying, can you surf in the Pandoran Oceans? Man, I hope we get a scene of them surfing.
Of
Don't
course.
worry.
That would be so
That
good.
would
Recom
be the
surfing. That would
best.
be so on theme for Recoms to be surfing.
I've got it.
Wouldn't
I've
it,
got
bro?
it. This is it. Selfridge has moved up. He's not golfing anymore. Surfing.
He's surfing.
Oh no, I hope it's
Oh,
still golfing.
yeah.
I want to see a golf scene in Avatar too, man.
I want to see like a full-on like golf course though in the new base.
Mhm. I think
It's
Selfridge
totally
is
a
probably
bit-
going to get reprimanded and he's going to get demoted.
Yeah.
He won't
if
be able to
doesn't-
play
might
golf
be, yeah.
anymore.
I
Think
mean,
about Selfridge has to get in some kind of trouble. He's lost the entire operation and he was in
Right.
charge.
He's in big trouble.
Right.
I think he's going to be remaining on Earth. I've talked about
No,
this
but-
before. I think if at any point in the movie we get scenes on Earth, it's going to be Selfridge back at the RDA being punished and transferred
just-
to Arctic or something.
Remember the scene
I
in
think-
Aliens when Ripley's being debriefed at the inquest hearing and they cut her down? And we're going to see like the
Exactly.
same thing with Selfridge.
No, I think his dad is the one who's like running the RDA, and then his dad just said,
His dad?
"Oh, jeez, man, just go to Pandora for a bit. I'll let you run that." Just
So
because he's like a disappointment to his dad or something.
he's a spoiled
That's
little
what I-
kid who's just
Yeah,
coasting on his
exactly.
dad's
Yeah, yeah,
success.
Yeah. So then he's like having an argument with his dad, and he's like, "God, Dad, I want to go back to Pandora or something," you know. And he's like, "No, you messed it up, man."
Minty,
I don't
stop
think so.
discussing the leaks, please.
It's not a leak. Oh my god.
I disagree with all you guys. I think Selfridge is going to come back and he's going to have a turn of heart and he'll switch
I
sides.
think so too, but eventually, and maybe he's going to do it from Earth. Maybe he's going to be pulling strings for Jake at the RDA headquarters.
Yeah, right.
Doesn't it take like 6 months to send a message to Earth though from Pandora? So it's like he's like
takes 4
sitting in his
years.
apartment. Oh,
But-
4 years. Okay, so
No, they
yeah,
had
he's
the
sitting in his
instantaneous quantum communications that I can use, and that's instantaneous. But it's very expensive, and Jake likely wouldn't have one
he
unless
can
he
trade
takes
some.
Brickhead.
He can trade some like fruit he found in the jungle for a chance to send a message. You know.
Yeah, probably.
I meant to bring something up. Just recently, Discovering Pandora put up 2 videos about the Project 880 script, and he was talking about a lot of the initial ideas that Cameron had, like how the RDA brings back antivirus. That when people
Yeah,
show up on
it's-
Pandora, Pandora naturally responds to foreign pathogens with an antivirus. So they discover that, they bring it back to Earth, and they're using it to treat diseases. And that's just one example of why Earth is so interested. What if Selfridge goes back to Earth. He never comes back to Pandora again, but he's on Earth and he's seeing the results of all the technology that they're developing and all the research and discoveries they're making. And then he sees what they're using it for. And, he has that sparring match with Grace about, he thinks she's crazy for thinking that the trees have mystical woo-woo in them. And then he sees for real himself, and he comes to that realization, oh, Grace was right. And then that's where he starts to turn, and he acts like an insider on Earth to some effect.
It definitely
that is-
seems like that's going to happen. That because the recoms seem to be a direct result of the technology they found on Pandora. I think someone else mentioned that before on here. That
Mhm.
yeah, the recoms, being reconstituted memories. That's the tree of voices. That they have those memories of ancestors that are stored there. So I mean, yeah, I can totally see all those things that are coming back.
Maybe the memory repository the RDA have, like they would have all of the people's memories that they use to make recoms, and maybe that is going to turn into something like AWA, because that's what happens when you put enough souls into a tree or a computer.
Yeah.
What
I
if
can see it.
they're actually time traveling? And Pandora is like way in the future,
Jeez.
and then humans are the ones who created Awa, and then the people that stayed on Pandora just evolve into the Navi.
You don't even need time
Oh
travel.
my
I've been
God.
talking about this. The
That's some
Navi
deep
creating
lore.
AWA.
That's part of our deep theory video coming up.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Just a little teaser for you guys.
I really
Yeah.
like that the Project 880 video. I'm waiting. I'm gonna do my own deep dive into Project 880, but I'm gonna wait because I think that it's gonna take a lot of time and effort because that
Mhm.
original scriptment, it's so different. Like you
Yeah.
can tell that it was written when he still wanted it to be
It's-
R-rated.
Right. It's very dark and gritty
Right.
and violent. And
It's definitely like the 80s, 90s James Cameron as he would have made it, rather than the one that we got, which is the Titanic James Cameron, I think, or even again than the more that we got. So I'd want to really like drill down into that because I think that it's a fascinating document, and I think that also a lot of the things that probably he touches on in there, we will eventually see in the sequels.
exactly.
Yeah. I want to welcome Hard Drive Through Town and DJ, who've also joined us for the second, or at least the later half of the
Hello.
the podcast, because they were both just hanging around in our lobby.
What's going on?
Good evening.
Hey
Hey,
guys.
how's it going, man?
So, do you both want to give your predictions as to when you think we're going to get a trailer?
I would say by the end of the month.
It's
At the
I'm
latest.
surprised that we don't have one already.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, someone said something about the 20th, considering that was the date of the original one when we got the trailer last time. So, hope that's the date.
I mean, if they stick around too long and release it too late, they might not get the message out. Get the message out to the people required to bring in a lot of money. Also, we haven't really seen a lot in terms of story. I would say nothing that's canon, at least. So, yeah, there's certainly some stuff they will still have to work on, because the teaser they brought out, that was just a tech demo, pretty much.
You mean the teaser for The Way of Water?
Hmm.
I mean, I feel like that was a really emotional teaser, man. It was one of my favorite
Yeah,
teasers I've
it was.
seen in years.
The music was really
it was absolutely great, absolutely. But apart from seeing that Jake and his family fly to the Meccaina, and that there's some sort of battle going on, that Quaritch is back, you don't sort of you see all these different pieces, but you don't see how they correlate, and also you don't know if the way it's laid out in the teaser, you don't know if the way you see them one after another, if that's how they're laid out at all. Also, they don't show a lot of the characters that are supposed to be in this movie, which is a good thing. But yeah,
no Vin Diesel.
Someone in the chat was like, "Why do they keep going on about Vin Diesel? What's the obsession
in
with
the
Vin
movie.
Diesel?"
Love Vinny D.
Have you guys seen Fast and Furious? Watch that movie; you'll completely
Have you
change.
guys
Yeah.
seen
All
Last Witch Hunter?
Vin Diesel's greatest hits. Okay, wait 1 second. So we got more questions. So we got I mean, I agree. I want to say I agree with Charlie that they do need to ramp up marketing. It doesn't matter what it is. I just do agree that I think they need to increase it.
Oh.
And then I question, why do characters in the Avatar games never appear in the movie sequels? Well, we don't know that yet, but I think that it's because
They're
lot
not
of the
canon,
games,
aren't they?
yeah, exactly. A lot of the games aren't canon. And also, I think we don't know when the time period that they take place in is necessarily happening. So I think we might see some characters overlap with Frontiers of Pandora, because we know that they've worked closely with Disney and Lightstorm.
That would
So,
be interesting.
you know, they might put a few characters at locations in there, which would be cool. But then at the same time, they don't need to do that. I mean, it'd be a good nod to the fans, but just making a good game, I think, is more important.
To add to that, I mean, even like, so let's take the PC game for example. In the wiki, I don't know who put that in, but even small things like you get on your dire horse and you don't like rider doesn't connect the queue to it or whatever. Like even small things like that, they put down in the wiki as being like, oh yeah, this isn't happening, this isn't canon. Yeah, it's just I don't think like I think some of the stuff they do in the games just really doesn't line up with what they do in the movies or how they would do it or portray it maybe. So that's probably why.
I just wanted to talk about the going back to the marketing thing, that the irony that Nestle is partnering with them to market the Way of Water.
Oof, that's not a good way of water.
Are you?
I'm gonna wait until that's confirmed.
Which irony are you talking about?
I've seen the box of cereal. I've got it.
Oh, you mean it's actually in the world right now?
Yes,
Buy
I
have the box of cereal.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god! Wow. Did you get anything with it?
Avatar cereal.
It says win prizes. I haven't looked at it properly. But from what I can tell, it's like a coupon thing, so you send it off.
Okay,
guys,
get some X-ray glasses.
I know I keep talking about Vin Diesel, but Joe just said maybe Vin Diesel voices the friggin' whale. What if Vin Diesel actually does voice the whale, but he's not saying anything? He's just making whale noises.
That would be right up his alley.
Like,
Yeah.
just every time the Tulkun says
Oh,
something, it's just
dear.
Vin Diesel going.
That's probably the best theory so far.
Yes, that's going on the iceberg.
Yeah, that's going on the iceberg. So we have the actions from this podcast so far has been that we're going to create the iceberg live on screen for all the deep things.
Yeah, and we need to put the
Love to see
Titanic on there as well.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree.
And the cereal too somewhere in there.
Nestle is actually was bought by the RDA, or at least they were one of the founding fractions of the RDA.
Well, it seems like they moved on from water and stuff to more minerals.
Unobtainium.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything that I've missed, guys? Before we should head to wrapping it up and then going into our post. We can go to the post show in the Discord. What is there any topics that I've missed that we talked about at the start that I can't remember?
Like crazy predictions. Did we do all of our crazy predictions?
We made a bunch of predictions.
We did make a bunch of predictions. I feel like we should acknowledge that it's Siggy Sunday.
Yeah.
I feel like Elf.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Sigourney Weaver Appreciation Day, everyone. So if you didn't think it, I want to do some admin things actually. So if you're watching this after the fact, then make sure to go to the Avatar Guy VOD channel where this will be uploaded. And I've just dropped a link to that channel in the chat. Basically, that's the place where I upload all of these podcasts live because of the way the YouTube algorithm weirdly works. Anamanesis, if you want to spam a bunch of the emojis in the chat that everyone can see, you should totally do that so that people can get them if they really want. The missed topic of talking about possible biomimicry of those new gunships in the Avatar 2 trailer. So, checks, that's actually something that I think we will want to talk about in a future episode. So, Minty has talked about this. We want to have a really deep dive and talk about the Andorran jungle, you know? So, I feel like that's one of the things that we're going to do in the future.
Are you talking about those new interceptors? Those aerial interceptors?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they're powered by unobtainium.
Ooh. I mean, they do say that in the comics, which are not canon, that they use the unobtainium to run Hell's Gate
Right.
in some way. Oh,
Interesting.
My God. Shit.
So. Okay.
Pizza pops are ready.
Yes, it's ready. Yeah, we can't wait for Avatar 2 as well. 61 days today, right? 61
Yeah,
days.
2 months exactly.
2 months.
Oof, it's
59 days here, but
don't
Oh,
brag.
you lucky.
Jay. Yeah.
You get
Lucky
it 2
bastard.
days early. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's. I'm excited. Okay. So
Very.
yeah, we were gonna. If you want to join us for the post show, we'll be in the Discord channel in the voice chat. Those of us who want to continue going. But yeah, as always, I want to thank everyone for joining.
Thank you for
So
hosting.
Thank you for
Thank you.
hosting.
thank you, everyone, and
thank you for having us.
we will see you all next time. And also, thanks to the
Absolutely.
Based and Robust Network, as always.
Hell yeah.
Stay
Yeah.
based, stay robust.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.